Hey y'all, welcome back to the Chalk Sports Podcast. And today we're going to be talking about the NBA playoffs. And I know CJ is not here. His dad wouldn't let him go out late. I know if y'all are normally here, this is pretty normal. Like, I've done this alone enough times to be able to do this alone. So we're going to be talking about the playoffs. And I'm going to be doing my bracket. But I'm recording this Thursday night. We still have the Friday playing games. But we're going to go based off of if the Hawks win and the Grizzlies win, which is very likely. I don't see the Heat doing another Bulls game, and I have a hard time seeing Memphis lose to the Mavs. But anything's possible. Nothing would change. My bracket would probably stay the exact same. But let's get into it. So we're going to start with the West. We're going to go from west. We're going to go west to east. We're going to go from the 1 to the 8 and then go back. Yeah, you know how it is. We're going to start with the West, and we're going to talk about Thunder versus Grizzlies in this scenario. It's pretty simple. The Thunder are the most dominant team in NBA history, statistically. They had the most point differential ever by an NBA team, and that is huge in the modern era where all these teams are very close together. Back in the old days, like a Jordan team, old Jazz team, they were all so far apart because not everyone had Michael Jordan. Not everyone had like these great players, and there wasn't enough great players. Nowadays, everybody's a star, superstar, and there's 22 of the best players in the NBA that are all on the same level. But the Thunder did it like nobody else. They had the third best defense and the fourth best offense in the league, which would be lower than the Grizzlies because the Grizzlies were the second best offense in the league. But they had the best field goal percentage, held their opponents to the lowest field goal percentage in the league, have the sixth best 3-point ball, the sixth best 3 points made, 10th most 3 points attempted, the best opponent 3-point percentage, best free throws, and they just have like this dominant bubble where they are at the top. They are alone at the top. They have the least amount of turnovers in the NBA and the most amount of steals. They provide this like area where they're just dominant. There's no question about it. And the Grizzlies are good. They kind of figured it out as of late, where use Zach Edey. But the Grizzlies got swept in the season series. 4, and none of the games were within 20 points. Well, one was within 20 points. Yeah, one. The 125 to 112. That was the closest game. If you think the Grizzlies win a series, you are beyond nuts. Because there was 125 to 112 was the closest game. Second closest was a 17-point win for the Thunder. That's the difference this team makes, is they're so dominant at this. And it shows like statistically everywhere. And it's only more obvious if it's the Mavs. But the Grizzlies have been playing good. I will respect them. They have been playing good. The pick and roll has been insanely efficient. Ja Morant's looking good as of late, but he did roll his leg. So that's another thing you got to keep an eye on. Like, will Ja be 100%? Or will he be playing at like 50, 30%? Where this Ja Morant is not as good as normal Ja Morant. That's a lot of talk for a sweep. But I got the Thunder winning 4-0. No question about it. Every game is going to be a 10, 20-point game. I don't see a game going within one digit. Let's move on to the next one. Let's talk about Rockets Warriors. Actually, no. Let's talk about Lakers Timberwolves because I think that's the second easiest matchup to predict. But it's very hard. The rest of these games are near impossible to predict. The Lakers Timberwolves, I'm giving it the. It is tough for me to pick the Lakers because I think the Timberwolves have a really good shot at this, and I know that sounds insane to say. But if you really think about it, Timberwolves had the 5th best defense and the 13th best offense, and that's not counting the rise playoff Ant gets. There are a few players who like rise in the playoffs, and Anthony Edwards is one of those, and he does it at a high level. Uncomparable, while Luka and LeBron do the same thing. But I just feel like we're kind of sleeping on the weaknesses the Lakers have. Sure, Luka, LeBron, Austin Reeves. And then what? What? You Rui Hachimura? Dalton Connect? Like, what's your point? The Grizzlies are more well-rounded. They have Ant, they have Randall, they have Gobert, they have Naz Reid, Jaden McDaniels, Nickeil Alexander-Walker. Now, sure, I named a role player. But, I mean, if we get into role players on the Lakers, Rui Hachimura, Dalton Connect, I've yet to name a big, besides for Rui, but he's 6'9". So, their center is Jackson Hayes. And I don't know about you, but I'm not relying Jackson Hayes to guard a Rudy Gobert that has took a huge offensive leap. Putting up 19, he put up 35 against the Nets. Sure, it's the Nets. The Nets have better center core than the Lakers. They got to play them 7 times if they go to Game 7. They tied the season series already. And none of them had... No, one had Luka. And they won 111-102. But Ant only had 18 points. And Terrence Shannon Jr. had 25. I'm pretty sure he's fresh out of college. Yeah. Terrence Shannon is fresh out of college. That is the guy you're going to tell me, like, oh, that's the play. That's the game that I want decided by. Rudy Gobert didn't even play in this game. Yeah, no Rudy, no Julius Randle. I'm kind of leaning Timberwolves now. I originally came in thinking Lakers. I bought in. I'm going Timberwolves to upset the Lakers. I think everyone is sleeping on how weak the Lakers are. And I know I'm going to look crazy if I'm wrong. Because it's either the Lakers win this game and they'll probably go to the Western Conference, or they'll lose this game and they're round 1 upset. And I don't see how either aren't possible. Continuing on, because that was another Yap sesh. Clippers, Nuggets, because I think this is a really good series. So we have the Timberwolves winning, and then we have the Thunder winning. Who are going to play the Thunder, the Nuggets or the Clippers? And another tough one, because of one thing. Nikola Jokic. What Nikola Jokic are we going to get? Are we going to get nuclear, insane, 44-minute, 60-point, triple-double, 20-20-20? What are we going to get? Because average a triple-double. And then I bought in on the quote. Quoted saying, what was it? They have awoken, something about they have awoken the beast. Anyways, last night. All right, cool. Quote last night. People say we are vulnerable, but the beast is always the most dangerous when they're vulnerable. Maybe he just woke up the beast. That is what Jokic said, referring to the owner, Josh Kogi, who made the coaching change. That is a scary quote from Jokic. And honestly, if I'm the Clippers and I'm hearing this quote, I'm terrified. But I don't know where the Nuggets are at right now. They lost their coach, and yes, Jokic said that quote. Whoop-de-doo. No coach is still a big point, and the Clippers have a pretty solid coach. Wait, that was disrespectful. Hold on, that was really disrespectful. I am sorry, Tyronn Lue. They have a top. Oh no, it was no, it's Tyronn Lue. They have a top coach, not the best coach, but a top 5. James Harden in the playoffs. Zubac in the playoffs against Jokic will be very fun. Kawhi Leonard in the playoffs. I would not fade Kawhi Leonard in any scenario. But a playoff scenario, dude, fading is not a thought. I have a lot of fears for the Nuggets. Because Jokic is all you have right now. Murray's been all right. Like, he's probably going to be decent for the playoffs. But he's not going to be Jokic. He's not going to be James Harden. And he's not going to be Kawhi. And Zubac has been playing at a high level. And if you stick Zubac on Jokic with a Lakers-like defense, where Jokic hits the ball and Kawhi and Zubac are stepping up on him and tussling for that ball, there's a chance Jokic doesn't get much points up. They did They tied the season series, but the Nuggets won the last two. But I still don't think that's a full understanding of what we're getting. The Nuggets have a worse defense but a better offense. But it's like defense versus offense. Defense, the Clippers are way more dominant in compared to the offense. And I think that'll be a swing factor. I'm saying the Nuggets are going to lose. I think the Nuggets are going to lose. I'm either really drinking that Clippers Kool-Aid, which I know if anyone's watched the podcast, especially during March Madness time, you know I'd buy into these teams really hard. I bought into UCLA super hard during the playoffs, and I was very wrong. So I'm buying in, and I think the Clippers might win this series, but it's going to go to 6 or 7, without a doubt. Like, I have a hard time imagining Jokic being able to carry this entire team by himself, beating James Harden, beating Kawhi Leonard, beating Zubac with a good defense. This Clippers team could win in 6. With some defensive adjustments late, it could be 7. And I could see it going both ways. Like, I'm not saying the Nuggets are going to lose. I don't know what Jokic we're going to get. We're going to get a good Jokic, but how high of a level are we going to get? We're going to get like a Michael Jordan level. I have to carry the entire team by myself while getting insane amounts of assists. Or are we going to get the Jokic that gets 40 and loses? We're going to get 40 maybe. I wouldn't be surprised if he dropped 60. At least twice. I know he has it in him. But I'm going Clippers because I don't feel very confident in betting on Jokic's team right now. That's all for that one. The Rockets versus Warriors is the next one. Is the last one. So the Thunder will play the Clippers. The Timberwolves get to decide who they want to play, Rockets or Warriors. And this is another one where you have to really think about it. Because the Warriors, on one hand, are extremely hot. Like, they are the hottest team in the NBA by a country mile. Like, there's no questions about it. But at the same time, everyone's sleeping again. Everyone buys into the big name. Everyone buys into the Currys, the Lucas, the LeBrons. No one really thinks about the fact that the Rockets are a legit team too. You don't stumble into 52 wins. You don't have the best transition off defense, best transition offense. What'll concern me is the half-court offense. I think the Warriors turn the ball over too much to be able to fully win this series. What the Rockets do is they get steals and then they get points in transition, or they big body you. 50% of their misses are rebounded offensively. That is insanity when you consider the fact that the Warriors don't have a great center. Their best center is probably Draymond Green, and then Kevon Looney. Like, are we serious right now? That's not a serious threat of a center. And they got exposed last time. Yeah, so Draymond was their center for the Grizzlies game. Quentin Post was there too. But they both had not a lot of rebounds. And when we look at this Clippers game, that was a must-win game. They had 25 rebounds. The Clippers had 42. And we're talking about a better rebounding team. A better team that can switch guard and play multiple position power forwards. Power forwards that can do everything. Like Dillon Brooks, Tari Easton, Jabari Smith, all can play every position. And that is not a good matchup for the Warriors. I know everyone's coming in like, oh, they're the hottest team in the NBA. Okay, but how hot does Curry get? If Curry can drop 30 a game, then yeah, sure, they'll probably win this. But if Curry gets locked down by that defense of Amen Thompson, you stick Amen Thompson on him, how much is Curry actually going to get? Because then you run the combo of Steven Adams and Alperen Sengun, and now you got a big men lineup versus a historically small team. And that's where I think the Golden State Warriors lose this is they don't have height. They don't have the dominating factor of, hey, we can get a rebound on you guys without a problem. But the Rockets can. The Rockets get rebounds. That's what they're good at. They're good at that physical, tough play that wins them games. And that's why I think the Rockets win. I think everyone's fading the Rockets, but I don't think it's a very smart move to do because they're sleeping on them, honestly. 52 wins is not stumbled into. The Warriors won 48, but okay, Rockets won more. They did lose the season series, but I think the Warriors are really good. But I think they're going to end up getting burned by a Rockets team. The way the Rockets lose, though, is half court. If the Rockets don't get a good half court, they don't get across the court fast enough, and they have to play half court ball, just give it to the Warriors because they don't stand a chance. Let's move on, though. Now the second round is set for the West. Thunder versus Clippers, Rockets versus Timberwolves. I know. If it was we'll talk about if it was Lakers, too, because I think that one could go either way. So I wanted to talk about both. So let's talk about Thunders versus Clippers, though, because this one I feel more confident in. That I think the Nuggets probably loses one compared to the Lakers. If the Nuggets are in this one, then they're probably still getting the same result, which is BTA. By the way, the Rockets Warriors would be probably in 6. It'd be 4-2. I think the Warriors give them a fight, but the Rockets win it overall. Thunder Clippers. Is it a sweep? The matchup's terrible. I don't think I really need to talk about this one. Thunder Clippers. It's a matchup that doesn't paint well for the Clippers. Clippers are a very good team, and the reason they would beat the Nuggets would be because they match up better against the Nuggets, and they can beat up on Jokic. You can't beat up on Shea. You're not going to out-rebound them because of Chet. You have a worse offense and a worse defense. Chet will get the rebounds. Shea will get free throws. Defense does not work well enough, and playoff Kawhi can only do so much. And James Harden in the playoffs isn't spectacular. If he rises to 2018 Harden, then sure, they probably stand a chance. But it's a gentleman's sweep in my eyes. It's 5 games, 4-1 sweep, 4-1 for the Thunder. All right, Rockets Timberwolves. This one's a lot better. This one's more fun to think about. Thunder move on to the conference finals, but the Rockets versus Timberwolves is who do you go? Okay, so we have the worst. Oh, wait, what am I looking at? Oh, so they're tied offensively, dead on, 114.3 points per game. Defense is nearly tied. They match up very well against each other. This is the dream matchup. If you want a good second round matchup, you root against the Lakers because these two teams are near similar in every category besides for 3-pointers. And I think the Timberwolves could expose it, but I think the Rockets match up good too. They don't match up better. This isn't like the Warriors where they outmatch the team. I think though you can still get rebounds on Gobert. I don't think Gobert is like a Chet where Chet gets a lot of rebounds and is defensively talented while being insanely offensively talented. With Shea, the Thunder team is stacked. But if we're looking at Timberwolves Rockets, the Rockets have the pieces to beat the Timberwolves. They have a guy who can stick on an ant. They have guys who can out-rebound Gobert, and that's kind of what we saw in the last time they played, where the rebound battle was actually won by the Rockets, or the Timberwolves, and Ant had 29. That's not a... Ant had 29, but he shot 36% from field. He went 10 for 10 for free throws. So, just because the Rockets won, the Rockets win in whatever way they take. Jalen Green also had a bad game, so that game is a freak accident. I don't think that'll happen again. But they tied in the season series, and when the Rockets lost, they weren't really... It was kind of like a Jalen Green struggle. Jalen Green, his numbers owned by the Wolves. We're going to have to see, though. This game, I think, goes to the Rockets. If this happens, then I think the Rockets win this one. But let's talk about if the Lakers won, because I think this is the opposite of what I was saying before, where – instead of saying that the Lakers win this game, I think the Lakers win this game. No, actually, I think the Rockets win this game too. I'm not high on the Lakers because, okay, the Lakers have Luka and LeBron. That's 2 players. The Rockets don't have superstars, but they have talent. Talent up and down the court. Tari Easton through Jalen Green, through the top of the roster, Sengun. All are talented and all-star level players. Versus the Lakers have 2 and then weaknesses. So even if the Lakers manage to overcome the Timberwolves, it would probably be a hard-fought matchup. Probably going to 7, probably going to 6 if they're lucky. Okay, now you're beat down, and you're coming into a Rockets game where they get to do the same thing they did to the Golden State Warriors. They get to have the big men dominate and make you look silly. And I think either way, the Rockets move on to the conference finals. And I think y'all need to stop sleeping because, okay, LeBron and Luka, all right, I got Amen Thompson to guard LeBron, and I don't even know who would guard Luka at that point though. But no, that's not besides the point too. That's an actual question. Who would guard Luka? They have somebody. Somebody will guard Luka. That's not a great point at all. I'm working on trying to find out who would guard Luka because I do think they match up good enough. So when Luka did play the Rockets, he had 39, but it was the backup Rockets. It wasn't a healthy Rockets by any means. Amen didn't play. Oh, you've Dillon Brooks. Stick Dillon Brooks on Luka, not LeBron. We're not doing that again. No. We are not doing Luka. We're not doing Dillon Brooks and LeBron again. That was a bad time. Bad time. I was rooting for the Grizzlies at that point, and it was a bad time. We're going to do, you stick Amen on LeBron, because physically, Amen is more gifted than LeBron, which is crazy to say. Amen's probably the most talented athlete in the NBA, physically. And we're going to stick Dillon Brooks on Luka. That's the strategy. And the Rockets move on. So now the conference finals is chalked. It's chalk. It's Thunder versus Rockets. And then it's Thunder. It is so hard to not pick the Thunder to win this conference. What universe do you have the Thunder not winning? Who beats them? The Lakers, I guess, would be the only team that I could see. And that would be very dependent on how hot they get. But even then, the same fault that I've had for every other team against the Lakers had for every other team I had, stands true. The Lakers have no depth. They have no talent past 2 guys. The Thunder and Rockets played 7 times this season. Or 6 times. And they split the season series. So I do think the Thunder could give them a challenge, or the Rockets could get them a challenge. But it's Shea rising up. It is very dependent on how long, the series before it are. And I think the Rockets have to go through 6 or 7 games in both of the series they have to play in. Because they got screwed with the draw where they have to play the Warriors and then the Timberwolves or Lakers. And now you got to play the Thunder after that, where the advantages you had against the Warriors and the Lakers and out physicality in the Timberwolves does not carry over. You don't have the star power too to outmatch the Thunder. And I think that's where they fall. I think the Rockets make the conference championship, and I think they fall to the Thunder in 6. I'm very high on the Thunder. Thunder make the championship. We're going to cut this into part 1. This is part 1. Part 2 will be about the East. It'll be posted at the same time. Go check that out. Thank y'all for watching part 1, the West. See y'all in the next one. Peace.